This past Tuesday, we bore witness to the second of the 2012 presidential debates, and this one was a town hall style format. And I have alluded to before the fact that President Obama was going to do much better in this type of format, in part because I felt it was more in his wheelhouse. He's the type of candidate in a Bill Clinton sense, just in this standpoint alone, is the fact of he has that ability to connect with people, to get people to like him on an intimate kind of one-on-one or in a small group setting. And that is a strength of his as a president and as a candidate, and as a result, bodes very well for him in this type of style of debate. That's not to say that Mitt Romney is complete trash in this type of format. In fact, he's gotten a lot better at it in recent years. He's had a lot of practice, especially during his whole 2012 campaign. Helped that his good friend, Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, and him did several town hall style format discussions before. But going into this debate, I did expect that we were going to get a much different Barack Obama. He didn't really have a choice. There was nowhere he could really go but up in terms of a way that he presented himself and the way that he approached things from the first debate. And the great thing about it is Joe Biden's debate performance and the approach that he took and the mindset that he took and the kind of attack dog approach that he took really gave Barack Obama the chance to be much more aggressive, but still say, well, compared to the vice president, I was much more mellow and meek. This debate, one thing that stood out to me was the fact that some of the people answering questions looked like they were terrified to be there. Maybe it was the part where they're thinking about all these millions of people that are going to watch this debate and it scared them, I don't know. But you would think, as important as something like this is, and important as some of these questions were that were being asked, you would think that you would find people that weren't going to be scared of the moment and be able to properly eloquate the question that they wanted addressed by these candidates. And a disappointment of mine from this debate as a whole was the fact of when these questions were being asked by the people, usually these questions just flat out didn't get directly answered at all, which shouldn't surprise anybody. I'm not even going to do fact check on this video because there was so much BS thrown out by both candidates on this one. It's ridiculous. The people that are voting during this election lose out too because, again, there's no third-party candidate, Gary Johnson, even though he has ballot access, I believe, in 48 states now. I think that merits being on a national debate. What are they so scared of? What are they so scared of? I'm just saying. But, after the debate, there was a lot of argument, about Candy Crowley's performance as a moderator. Jim Lehrer did a terrible job as a moderator. I thought Martha Raddatz was fine. And I thought Candy Crowley was okay, not great, but not the thing that you should be bitching about if you're either side when it comes to this debate. Now, my only issue with Candy Crowley was, as a moderator of this style of debate, she should have made sure more questions got answered, and she should have made sure that the questions that were asked actually did get directly answered by the candidates, such as the question about whether the energy secretary should take a bigger role in trying to reduce gas prices, which again is a phony baloney argument, what have you. Like I said, that's one that I call out the GOP on. When Bush was your man in charge, the president doesn't control gas prices. There's all these other indicators that control it, which is true. But now that there's a Democrat in the White House, all of a sudden the president does have a lot to do with it, and his cabinet has a lot to do with it. Bullshit. And anybody that believes that shit is an idiot. All these different, stretching of the truth when it comes to gas production, oil production, if you will. The Romney campaign's completely dismissing the BP oil spill down in the Gulf a couple years ago. That wouldn't have anything to do with a temporary reduction in oil production. I'm just saying. So, I will say this, even with some of the disappointments I saw from this debate. The first 45 minutes of this were must-see fucking TV. I thought this was a damn MMA fight going on up at Hofstra University. This shit was gold, man. Obama came out swinging. Romney swung back. Obama would try and land a jab, then Romney would counter, and back and forth. I mean, there was even the moment where it almost looked like the two were damn near ready to go face-to-face, cuss each other out, and have a street fight. I mean, the first 45 minutes of this debate were incredibly entertaining, even if you're not a big politics wonk or anything. The last 45 minutes tend to tail off a little bit in energy, and that was disappointing, especially if you were an Obama supporter, because Obama, that first 45 minutes, was doing himself a lot of good. A lot of good. He was strong. He was aggressive. He was confident in what he was talking about. He was connecting with people. He was standing for what he believed in, even if you don't agree with it. But then the energy level kind of tailed off until the very end. Obama had a big chance to score, a huge dramatic victory and failed to do so because the debate started to lag. As far as who won this debate, I think most people would agree, if you put aside your own personal biases, if Mitt Romney won the first debate, then Barack Obama clearly won the second debate. And I do believe that to be the case. I actually believe, in terms of approach and substance, that Obama overall did a better job on the second debate than Mitt Romney did in the first debate. Because while I thought Mitt Romney presented himself overall better in the first debate, I don't think substance-wise there was that much of a difference. When they were talking about things like education and issues involving women, I think Obama missed a tremendous opportunity to reference his two daughters and talk about the type of America and the type of future that he wants for them. There were big misses still by Obama, even though I felt overall that he won the night. There were these opportunities to really go in and really drive home points and really, in the case of talking about Sasha and Malia and the future that they had, really being able to connect with women voters, something that was for a while in this campaign an incredible weakness of the Romney-Ryan ticket. But that advantage that Obama had in that area seems to have dissipated a lot. And Obama's going to need that female support as much as he possibly can in order to help him win this 2012 election. I thought the jab about the size of Romney's pension was gold. One thing that was frustrating me the whole night, I'm sitting there and I always think about it for both candidates. What should you be hammering home on? What should you be hammering home on? I still think Romney is missing a big deal by talking about the fact that Barack Obama was in over his head. He tried to do too many things, and he sat there and tried to do too much, be a master of all trades, or a jack of all trades, and he became a master of none. I thought Romney should have repeatedly, even though he had been intricate and delicate about it, continued to hammer home the fact of when people were needing jobs and you needed the economy to get back up and going, you were focused on health care. Romney has to be careful because Obamacare was based off of Romney care. That's an undisputable fact. But that's, again, you could talk about the administration being out of touch and what have you. And Romney tried to go there, but he didn't go there enough, and he didn't do a good enough job of it. And as far as President Obama goes, one thing I was talking about the whole night, I was talking about it on my Facebook page, was, the one number that should be the theme of the whole night is 47. And that goes back to Mitt Romney as a governor of Massachusetts, the Northeastern University report that said during his time as governor, Massachusetts was 47th in job creation. You could debate some of the numbers, but the point is that's a known number that's out there. Obama should be hammering that away at that, saying, well, if Romney's talking about all this crap about creating 12 million jobs, without providing any specifics, he's just throwing out a number, even though his time in the private sector, he killed a lot of jobs, not created a lot of jobs. He just made the companies he was involved with, namely Bain Capital, a lot of money. He didn't really hammer away at him on that number, 47. And that was disappointing. Before I talk about the other 47, though, another thing that Obama has missed on tremendously is citing the record of Bain Capital and calling out Romney for Bain Capital's, performance record. Yes, they sat there and bought into a lot of companies. That's what those type of firms do. And unfortunately, a lot of times what they'll do is strip the bones out of it. They're concerned about making their money back, and then they may sell off their shares. And a lot of those companies ended up going belly up and going bankrupt. That's something that the Romney campaign doesn't really point out a lot. Sure, his supporters will bring up things like, Staples. But for every Staples, there are several other companies that Bain Capital bought into at a low price, ended up making a lot more of their money when they pulled out, and those companies still went through bankruptcy later on, and in a lot of cases ended up going away. That's something that Obama and his campaign should be hammering away on. This guy's talking about job creator, and he's, as much as anything else, been a job killer in the private sector. And this campaign continues to miss the fucking boat on this. And President Obama continues to miss the fucking boat on it. Hello! Newsflash, dumbass! That's a pretty big deal. It should be your entire focus, calling him out as a hypocrite. The biggest win for President Obama of the entire night, though, and the reason, above all else, that he ended up winning this debate was his closing was much better. He finally brought up the remarks that Romney made about the 47% of Americans. And the way he did it was very smart. He finally did it, and he brought it up at a time where it was the last thing anybody was going to hear, and Romney had no chance to respond whatsoever. And I thought that was incredibly smart on the president's part. Now, going into that third debate, he's going to need to continue to hammer away on it. And he's going to have to hammer away at Bain Capital. He's going to have to hammer away at Romney's 47th in job creation as governor of Massachusetts. Obama came out and was much more assertive in this debate. He looked like he wanted to be there. He had fight. I thought he did a good job of being able to connect with the people. And just throughout the debate, I thought overall Barack Obama did a better job. Did he deliver any type of major knockout blow to the Romney-Ryan ticket? Oh, hell no. The Romney-Ryan ticket is still very much in play, and Romney still has a very legitimate chance, in part because of Obama's failure to put him away in the first debate and get creamed like he did, according to public opinion. Romney still has a legitimate chance of becoming the next president of the United States. But I don't think he could really effectively argue here that Romney won this debate. I don't see how. He came across as kind of petulant, a bit bratty, a bit pushy. He also came across as, kind of bitchy, especially when reference to the debate rules. Maybe if he spent that time he was bitching about the debate rules to get in another jab at Obama or talk about what he was going to do, it would have been a better night for him. Did Romney do anything, though, to really sink his campaign? No, I don't believe he did. Did he do anything to cause any major damage where you'll see a huge Obama bounce in the second post-debate polls? No, I really don't think so. If anything, you'll see whatever surge Romney had, Obama will get some of it back, but he's not going to go back to the level that he was after the Democratic convention in September. I'm curious to see what will happen in the third debate. It's going to be, the last real chance that both candidates have to appeal to voters on a, wide basis. It's going to be very important for Romney to stick as close to the model of his first debate performance as he possibly can. For President Obama, he's going to have to stick as much to the second debate performance in the third debate as he possibly can. But he's got to emphasize Romney's record at Bain Capital. He's got to emphasize the 47th in job creation as governor of Massachusetts. He's got to emphasize that 47% comments. He's got to make social issues a big part of that third debate because women traditionally care a little bit more about social values and social issues when voting than male voters do historically. And Obama, in order to be reelected, is going to have to win the female vote. He's going to have to. Otherwise, he has no chance, and he could end up seeing his own mini landslide loss against Romney. As far as Romney, what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to, delicately but properly attack Obamacare. He's going to have to talk about the slow economic growth over 4 years, talking about this is not 1 or 2 years, this is a 4-year plan. I don't think attacking Obama on foreign policy is a smart move. You get to argue the semantics of Libya all you want, but I think in debate, if Romney veers too much off course in this debate from the economy and goes into foreign policy, he's going to be going right back into President Obama's wheelhouse. Because in terms of foreign policy, Obama has been very strong during the course of his presidency. He really has. There have been moments where he's been kind of neocon in some of the things he's done. So to sit there and argue foreign policy, if this third debate, if they ask a lot of foreign policy questions and Romney's forced to go on foreign policy and try to throw out the old GOP far-right neocon fear tactics, Romney's going to lose the third debate and as a result probably the presidency. He's not going to win. He's got to keep it in the wheelhouse. This election is about the economy, stupid, and Romney has to keep it about the economy if he has any chance. And Obama, if they go a lot to foreign policy, he's got to hammer away. He's got to talk about Romney doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and then try to present the ideas of what he's going to do to help the economy in his second term. I can't wait to watch this third presidential debate. I'm sure some of you can't either. Let me know who you thought won the second presidential debate. But I do think it was a clear victory, not a decisive one, but a clear victory for President Obama.